What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Double D Report. Me and Dean are fucking back. This is high intense week. NHL playoff start, basketball playoff start. It's going to be electric. Overall, it's just going to be electric. Sorry, guys. I know you MLB fans were taking a break this week. We are not talking about the MLB. I'm sorry. I know. You guys are upset. I know. But next week, we'll be putting it back in the mix. But this week, we have to talk about NHL and NBA. Dean, your favorite sport right now that's in the playoffs, I'd say, is the NHL.
Yeah, we are down to the final 1-2 games for some teams in the NHL season. And for the most part, we do have the seeding, the matchups of the first round pretty much settled. As we do come into these last 1 to 2 games, depending on the team that you're rooting for. So we do have some matchups to discuss. Obviously, we have some really high profile matchups, which are going to be awesome. We have some wild card teams that have, snuck in or, got in over the last few weeks that are going to be able to be in the playoffs for the first time in quite some time. Before I start off the playoff matchups, Derek, where we will naturally give our predictions, see how we're going to go, give a Stanley Cup prediction, etc. I did want to say this. I found this extremely interesting.
Okay.
Right? For the first time in NHL history, the 4 original 6 teams in the U.S., the Rangers, the Boston Bruins, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and the Chicago Blackhawks, all have not made the playoffs this year. For the first time in NHL history.
That's crazy. The redacted team.
That is crazy, just because it's a testament to how good these teams are on a year-to-year basis. Maybe not winning the Stanley Cup every year, right? Boston and Pittsburgh have had some more success within that. Chicago in the early 2010s as well. But just being in the playoffs consistently, right? Having that fan base come out every single day, having the high priority market to go out there and get players to draft correctly. So it's really just astonishing to see not one of them in the playoffs for this year. It's definitely a change of pace. It's definitely just a change of scenery in general. So I did think I had to bring that up in some sort of capacity.
Oh, yeah, 100%. That's huge. When those are the original core NHL teams don't make it to the playoffs, especially like nowadays, like obviously Pittsburgh, huge team, Rangers, huge fan base. All these teams that you're saying, they all have massive fan bases that have grown on throughout like the years. Kids grew up, they're like the Yankees. Kids grew up watching them, and they didn't make the playoffs, which is just, it's crazy to say.
I did want to point out, I misspoke just briefly, but it is the first time in NHL history that the Penguins are included in that. That's just my brain being scrambled today. The other core original 6 team was the Detroit Red Wings. But the point still stands, right? So all 4 American teams in the original 6, and you can even add Pittsburgh in there now because of just how big of a market they are. All 4 of them, including Pittsburgh, first time in history. It's unbelievable. And you got to remember, this is from 1942, Derek.
Yeah. That's
an easy statistic.
It's very good. Well, it's one thing I would say is that, like, as we said, it's a testament to show how good like these teams actually are. They've been consistently good, and it's hard for like dynasties or like teams to like last throughout the years. And it shows like, hey, for Rangers, good throughout, consistency, straight consistency. Pittsburgh, straight consistency. Red Wings, not so much.
Well, the Red Wings were really good back in the 80s and 90s, and they kind of fell off a little bit as time went on. However, it still stands.
Yes.
That being said, I did want to get that little tidbit out there. I apologize to our editor who's probably going to roast me. Dumbass! For saying Pittsburgh originally before the Red Wings, but my point stood because Pittsburgh is in that statistic that I mentioned. We do have to get to some of the matchups here, right? So, going to start with the 2v3 matchups, which we have 4 of them because there are 4 divisions. Going to start off with the Eastern Conference. Going to go to the Atlantic Division. Extremely high-profile matchup. High offense, high octane. Both of these teams on the higher side in the league in terms of goals for. And just to give you a little bit more perspective, the Lightning are the highest in the league in goals for this year. We got the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers. Stanley Cup champions, right? Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers against the Tampa Bay Lightning, who have just been electric this year on offense. Derek, thoughts? What are we thinking in this series? Is it going 7? Is one team going to dominate? How are you feeling?
I know it's hard for... One thing I will say is I believe the coach's name for Lightning is Michael Cooper. Is that his name?
John Cooper.
John Cooper. I knew it was a Cooper. But he's a very good coach. When it comes down to the playoff time, he knows the, I would say, plays and like schemes he's running, what lines he's putting in, the best lines possible. And obviously behind Vasilevsky, who's one of the best goalies in the league. But the Florida Panthers are the defending champions.
They are.
They want to win that championship again. And it proved to show by the trade they made in the mid-season for a huge
Going
player.
out there and getting Marchand, yep.
And I see that trade paying off in the first round, and the Florida Panthers take it in 6 games.
Okay. All right. I'm actually going to go opposite of you here.
Of course you're. No, it's not. Actually, you always go opposite of me.
Look, I do want to be transparent, right? The Florida Panthers are the defending champions, and they did make a big splash at free agency getting Brandon Marchand, right? So, huge trade, all right? And it sent shockwaves throughout the league because it was a last-second trade on trade deadline day. However, they just haven't been the same over the last couple of weeks, especially without Tkachuk. And there are reports that he may make it back, and he will probably be back for the first round. But at that same time, it's so hard to put a player right in there when he's been out for over a month, right? That being said, on the complete opposite side, Tampa Bay, they've almost done a soft rebuild over the last couple of years, right? While staying good. They lost Steven Stamkos. They still have, they've really, what's the word I'm looking for? They've really centered under their 2 main guys in Nikita Kucherov, who is still one of the best players in the NHL, Victor Hedman, who is still one of the best defensemen in the NHL. Their defense is steady. They added some new guys who have been absolutely phenomenal for them in Yanni Gourde, Jake Gensel. And then they have their, Steadfast and Sorelli, Braden Point. Their team is so much depth. Is so talented, and it showed by being the number 1 scoring team in the NHL this year. I just think they are going to dethrone, at least in this round, the former Stanley Cup champions. I think it is nothing against the Florida Panthers. They're still a phenomenal team, and you have 2 goaltenders who have been unbelievable in Bobrovsky and Vasilevsky going at it. I'm going to go the opposite of you. I'm going to go the Tampa Bay Lightning in 6.
Okay.
I think just the fact that Tampa's going to have home ice advantage, is a huge thing in the NHL playoffs. And I think it's going to show deeply. I think they take it in 6.
All right, that's a fair assessment. I can't hate that assessment. But
Fair enough.
It's going to be a good series. I think we both could agree it's going to be a very good series.
It's going to be a phenomenal series. Now we're going to get to one that is probably the worst out of the 2v3. It's the Carolina Hurricanes against the New Jersey Devils. Derek, this is a Devils team who has been devastated by injuries throughout the year, but yet they're still very good, right? Jack Hughes, huge blow. One of the best players in the NHL, out for the rest of the season. Shoulder injury, I believe it was. Just a massive blow, right? If you're going to have to compete against this Carolina Hurricanes team who is just so steady on the defensive side of the puck. I'm gonna make this one quick because I really don't think it's gonna be a good series. I'm gonna take Carolina in 5, and I could even see a scenario in which Carolina sweeps this. Absolutely nothing to do with the Devils or their talent. I just don't like the Devils' depth, and I think the Hurricanes pretty much beat them on every single asset of the game when it comes to offense, defense, even goaltending. So I think this is a pretty easy one for me, just personally. I'm going to go my official prediction, Carolina in 5.
Well, this is kind of shocking for me. I'm going to agree with you. But I do think that Carolina is going to sweep them. Because from how I'm seeing is like statistically what I've seen, whenever Carolina's in the playoffs, the first round, they always kill it. They play amazing hockey. They do great. then the second round is when they plummet. And obviously with the Devils team that's injured big time and not, as what you said, the depth is just not there. So, unfortunately, the Devils will get swept.
Yeah. Look, I can't argue with that assessment, like I said, right? I really think this is probably one of the weaker 2v3 matchups. And at the same time, I did want to throw just a little nudge in there, right, at Carolina fans. Carolina must be so happy the Rangers are out of the playoffs because the Rangers have eliminated them 2 out of the last 3 years.
Yes.
But we're going to move on because I don't want to talk about the Rangers because they suck dick. Moving on to the Western Conference. These are top tier.
Electric.
Top tier 2v3 matchups. I'm going to start with the Pacific Division first. Kings, Oilers, 4th year in a row. First round matchup.
That's crazy.
Astonishing, right? The number 1 seed has usually been locked up, whether it's been Vegas this year, it was Vancouver last year. It really does flip-flop between those two. But the Kings and the Oilers now 4th year in a row when they're meeting in the first round. Insane matchup, and I'm going to start it off only because I'm going to make my prediction nice and quick. I think this one goes 7, as they almost always do. I'm going to take the Kings in 7 for this one reason. The Kings are absolutely unstoppable at home this year. They have home ice advantage. Derek, they are 31-5-4 at home this year. Put that into perspective, Derek.
Stats don't lie.
It's unbelievable. They are almost unbeatable at home with the team that they have, the mix between veteran leadership and the mix between rookies who have been just elevating their game year in and year out. Mainly Quentin Byfield, who has just been phenomenal for them over the last 20 or so games. I get the whole star power on the Oilers, right? You have the best 2 players you can argue in the world in David and Draisaitl. Their biggest defect every year is goaltending, and they still haven't fixed it. I'm gonna go the Los Angeles Kings in 7.
I'm gonna go with the same games, but I'm going to go with the opposite teams. I'm gonna take Edmonton in 7, purely based off the 2 factors that you did say.
Yep.
McDavid and Draisaitl. Draisaitl arguably winning the Hart Trophy, arguably, and obviously McDavid is one of the best players in hockey. You are 100% right. Goaltending for them ceased to exist. I don't know what Edmonton does. It's just they don't want to get one. They refuse to get a good goalie. Because if they have a good goalie, they will be the best team they could be the best team in hockey. I'm saying this purely based off, I understand, you're 100% right. These home games, what Edmonton needs to do, if Edmonton captures 1 game at home, then they're winning the series. If they don't, it's going to be very, very tough. Because the first 2 games, correct me if I'm wrong, start off at home.
It goes 2-2-1-1-1. Or no, my fault. Disregard. 2-3-2.
Okay. Yeah.
So 2 for home for the Kings, 3 on the road for Edmonton, 2 at home for the Kings to finish it up.
Okay. So based on my opinion, I just think that if Edmonton captures one of the games at home in LA, which I think they honestly will, they're going to win the series. It's because the 2 powerhouses with Draisaitl and McDavid, it's just hard to stop them. And obviously, they're not it's not like Edmonton is just them. They have a bunch of key players on the team. Like, for example, why am I forgetting his name? They have a bunch of heavy hitters on the team overall.
Okay, cool. And I did want to flag that I've also looked it up a second time because every sport's a little different. So it's 2 at home for the home team, then 2 on the road for the away team, 1 back at home, 1 back on the road, 1 back at home. So I did want to. It goes 2-2-1-1-1.
Okay, 2-2-1-1-1.
Yeah. So it's a little interesting in that regard. But now we're gonna go to the other electric 2v3 matchup, right? These 2 teams. I mean, there's nothing really more to say, right? They're probably 2 of the best, 2 of the top 4 teams in the NHL right now. Dallas Stars getting home court advantage, home ice advantage against the Colorado Avalanche here. I mean, this is you might as well call. Look, you could say it's the Mikko Rantanen series,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And there's been so much hype around this because these two teams seem to always, clash heavy when it comes into the playoffs. The Dallas Stars have been on a little bit of a spurt. I shouldn't say that, not a spurt, a little bit of a slide over the last few weeks. They're losing their last 6 going into the playoffs. That's never a great thing,
No.
momentum-wise. At the same time, the Avalanche haven't been too much better. 5-4-1 in their last 10, so they're kind of middle of the pack as well, still trying to figure things out. Both of these teams made some huge trades at the deadline, right? Colorado, namely getting Ryan Lindgren on defense and then getting Brock Nelson on the offensive side of this thing. Dallas Stars making that huge trade with Carolina for Mikko Rantanen and then signing him to an 8-year extension. So going to be a lot of emotions for him in this series going against his old team. I do want to point out here, Dallas is another one of those teams that is phenomenal at home, 28-10-3. I'm not going to spur the Avalanche as well, 26-12-3. So they're both good home teams, both very good road teams. I think this one goes 7 as well. I think it's kind of hard not to see it go 7. I'm going to go a little bit of a shocker because I do truly think it could go either way. I'm going to go Stars in 7. But I would not, this is the one matchup where I would not be surprised at all if it goes the opposite way of that.
See, like, you're 100%. This series, I think, like, you can make a whole, like, fucking, we can make a whole video about this whole series. That's how good this series is going to be. But it's just so hard for me to, like, this is also huge news that just came out today. For the Colorado Avalanche, they just got their captain back, Gabriel Landeskog. He's just been activated and lifted to the Avalanche roster. Do I think he'll play in any games in the first round? No. I think he might play game 2, but I do, if he doesn't play game 2 or game 3, he's not playing. But Colorado has looked very, very, very well, even after getting rid of Rantanen, who is a huge player on their team. The trades, obviously, they made helped him out. Cale Makar's had a good year. Nichushkin's had a solid year. O'Connor's had a solid year. Drew Hand, all Colorado players, I'd say, have clicked very well, even without Rantanen, who was one of the Stanley Cup key players. So I do think it's going to go 7, and 7 is honestly a gimme game. That if it goes to 7, it's a coin flip.
It's the truth.
I do think Colorado has a slight edge against Dallas, unfortunately for Dallas.
Yeah, I think we're both on the same page here, where this is going to go 7 and it could really go either way. I'm faring a little bit more towards Dallas only because of goaltending. Ottinger is one of the best in the world, and I truly do think that he shows up in the biggest moments. I'm not going to at all overlook Colorado's offense, which is also electric, which is where they thrive in the playoffs. So I do think I think it's as advertised. Like you said, this is going 7. This is going to be a coin flip in game 7. It's just going to be based on where the pucks bounce. But I think we're both on the same page that regardless of if it does go 7, either team can win this one.
Oh, 100%. And it's going to be a great series. NHL fans, or newly up-and-coming NHL fans, watch this series.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Moving on just a bit. So we're going to go to the ones versus the wild cards now. Both conferences, I did want to flag this, both conferences, the wild card seeding has not been finalized yet. Not only in terms of who's going to be 1 and who's going to be 2. Well, in the East, it's basically finalized. But in the West, it is not. And there are 3 teams in the mix for both conferences, right? So what we're going to do here, because this should be finalized by around Friday or Saturday, we're going to estimate as the standings stand right now.
Okay.
So we're going to start on the West. The 1 seed in the West, the President's Trophy winning team, who has already clinched the best record in the NHL, the Winnipeg Jets, who have just been
on fire,
outstanding this year, right? Lowest goals against in the NHL. that led by their all-star, Vezina-winning, best goalie in the world, Connor Hellebuyck. As of right now, they will be going against the St. Louis Blues, who, for anybody who doesn't know, have been on a heater in the last month, where they have won 15 out of their last, don't quote me, 15 out of their last 19 games, I believe.
Insane. Literally insane.
They have pushed heavily to make the playoffs, lost their last couple, but that's not a huge deal here, right? And they're most likely going to make it in. A win, and they're in. A win clinches it for them. And I expect them to do that, right? The Calgary Flames are behind them, but I don't see that happening personally. And just looking at some of the scores tonight, I believe the Blues are winning 4-1, right, against the Utah Hockey Club. So the Blues will be most likely be making the playoffs here. Winnipeg Blues, Derek, what are we thinking here?
I mean, like, it's hard not to go with Winnipeg because they've been, even though St. Louis has been on a heater. 15. I think you are right. I think they are 15. They have 15 wins out of their last 19 games. They've played well in this last month to skyrocket them to the playoffs. It's just, I just think that there's no team out of the wild card seeding who can touch them. Because with their goaltending, their offense, obviously, President's Trophy. That's a huge thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, it's the most points in the NHL.
It is the most points in the NHL, yes.
So, for them having a great year, even with a bunch, even after I would say the Four Nations, they came back and they were still on fire, like as they were. So, and because normally after an all-star break or some sort, the first seed has a little bit of a down spurt, I'd say, from what I've seen in all sports, baseball, football, all NBA, everything. But they just stayed and just were on a heater. Simple as that. I think they'll take them in 5 games now. I think St. Louis will capture 1 game. I don't think they're going to get swept.
Okay. Wow, this is shocking. But yes, I'm going to completely agree with you. I think they take this in 5. I think St. Louis, it's been a great story for them. They have really come on at the end of the year now, ever since the cup, the all-star break, quote unquote, right? They have really kicked it into high gear, where they kind of forced their general manager to not sell, which is what they were originally going to do. So, great story. And the Blues have really played well. I just think they're going into a powerhouse. And I think Hellebuyck is just going to carry the Jets as far as they can go into this playoffs. And that's just how the way I look at it. I mean, he's been showing that he could do this. So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go Winnipeg in 5 as well. I don't think that's, per se a bad pick. I think they could easily sweep this, but at the same time, I'm going to give the Blues a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here. And I'm going to go Winnipeg in 5.
Yeah, wow, this is so shocking. We agree.
I know. I don't like it either. Next, we're going to go to the other one versus wild card seeding within the Western Conference, which is also looking like it's going to be likely to happen. We're going to go the Las Vegas Knights, Golden Knights, against the Minnesota Wild. I'm going to start it off real quick. I think the Knights sweep them.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a nice, quick series. Nothing against Minnesota. They're a gritty team who has worked their ass off this year in order to get where they are. They have just been riddled with injuries throughout this entire season, and it has shown at least over the last month or so, where at the halfway point, they were at the 2 seed in the Central, and Minnesota has just consistently, stepped down a peg. The Vegas Golden Knights are one of the best teams in the NHL here. They're on a heater to end the season, 7-2-1 in their last 10. They got 2 more to go. They're beating a playoff contender right now in the Calgary Flames. So I really don't see Minnesota even competing with them in the series, if I'm being completely honest. I think this is going to be an absolute blowout.
Yeah, obviously, Vegas. Vegas is Vegas. They've been consistently good since they came into hockey. You're 100% right. The grit, the coaching on Minnesota cannot go unrecognized. They've played very well. towards the end of the year. But again, Vegas is just overall the better team. I don't see the Minnesota of teams to take them down. I believe you said they were going to get swept. Unfortunately, we're agreeing again. So, yeah, just Vegas takes them in 4 and then moves on to the next round with probably... No, I don't think there's going to be... Honestly, this might be crazy to say. I don't think there's going to be a close game. Like, I don't think in the series there will be like a close, like, nail-biting game.
It's so tough to say, but I think out of every team in these playoffs, Minnesota is definitely the weakest.
Yes.
So, and they're going against a powerhouse. That's just the way. That's the way both me and Derek feel. So, I guess glad we're on the same page there, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna go into the East now. One of the confirmed matchups: the Toronto Maple Leafs against the Ottawa Senators. Toronto did clinch the 1 seed in the Atlantic. Ottawa already clinched the 1 wild card. The number 1 wild card, that is. So they're going to be playing, however many long it goes. The Toronto Maple Leafs will have the tiebreaker here, as not only the tiebreaker, but home ice advantage here. Derek, I'm curious as to what you say. I'm going to start with you.
Okay. See, this is tough for me. Because purely, Toronto obviously is Toronto. They're known for having great seasons and then failing. Like, when I mean failing, I mean failing.
This is correct.
But I think, in my heart of hearts, that they will, as being the first seed, they're going to win. I don't think they're going to win convincingly. I think it's going to go down to 6. But I think at the end of the day, Austin Matthews is going to show signs of being one of the best players in the league, obviously, and showing he has a moderately clutch gene in his body. And even though Ottawa, obviously, they've been fighting for the spot, it is going to be tough going into Toronto, but pretty much where the hockey hails. So, but I'm going to take Toronto in 6 games.
Okay. I respect it. This is going to be my one upset of the first round.
Oh, there we go.
I am going to go the Ottawa Senators in 7.
Wow.
Toronto is just one of those teams that just still doesn't impress me. I just don't see it, right? And ever since the nation's face-off, he's had a little bit of an injury bug, right? But Austin Matthews has not looked like Austin Matthews. And he's been one of the main reasons over the last few years that they've even been close to winning a series. You know, they've gotten eliminated, I believe, by Boston 2 years in the last 3. And then last year against the Florida Panthers, if I remember correctly. So I just don't see it. And they are the 1 seed, and I want to be cognizant of that. I want to obviously, mention that. I just don't see them being a good team. I'm trying to be the nice about it, right? Ottawa has won the season series 3-0, but we all know regular season, who gives a shit?
I mean, it's diddly dick.
It really does mean dick. But at the same time, the Toronto Maple Leafs just don't impress me when it comes to pretty much every aspect. They have some high-profile players that we know, right? Mitch Marner, he's going to crack 100 points this year. He's going to be a free agent this coming year. William Nylander, another stellar year. We obviously talked about Matthews, but then you have, Tavares, the defensive end, Morgan Riley, Max Domi. I mean, they have a lot of good fucking players, the Toronto Maple Leafs do. And yet somehow I still just don't trust them. It's really tough to put words into it, because if you look at the other side of the coin with Ottawa, they don't have any players that are just explode off the map, right? Their number 1 player is Tim Stützle. He only has 75 points on the year, so it's not top tier, Hart Trophy type year. You have just grinders who work the living fuck out of you, who are going to hit you every chance they get, who are going to bang the boards, forecheck, back check, all the proper things that they need to do on defense. And not to mention, ever since they've at least worked it a little bit, right? Their goaltending has been better in Levi Merlinen, so who has under a 2 goals against, and I believe he's may or may not start. But then you have Linus Ullmark, you have Anton Forsberg, you have so many different avenues they can go with goaltending. I just like them as an overall team better in this position, and they're going to be my one upset of the first round. I'm going to take them in 7.
So pretty much, like, I get what you're saying, because you are right. Where obviously they haven't been playing you don't see them as a good team, but overall, I understand Austin Matthews still hasn't showed a clutch bone in his body.
It's true,
but I think after losing in the Four Nations tournament, I think maybe, just maybe, that changed him a little bit and lit a fire underneath his ass. Even though, obviously, you're right, injury bug in the regular season, I just don't see how they would lose. I don't see them losing the series at all.
Yeah, no, I understand that point of view. I do, and I did want to mention just the secret weapon. Tkachuk is coming back for the first series for Ottawa, so that's just my little tidbit there. But getting into the last series, it's not confirmed yet. The Columbus Blue Jackets can still make the playoffs. They won tonight. For everybody who's playoff watching, the Canadians, if they even get a point in their final game of the season, they will make the playoffs. If they don't, and Columbus wins in regulation, Columbus would take that spot. And that's astonishing because Columbus has won 5 in a row now. They're peaking. So if they make the playoffs, it could be a little scary, but let's just assume for the time being, right, it's Capitals against Canadians. You can even put in Columbus in there if you would like, Derek, because it really doesn't affect my decision. I'm taking Capitals in 5, no matter who they play. That's it.
That's like
that's all I got. I don't think any more needs to be said. Capitals second best points in the league. They've been a little rough lately, but I think that's just because they've really had nothing to play for besides what Ovechkin's record was. So I think they're just going to rally together, really put a good, strong foot forward. And whether it's Montreal or Columbus, I don't see any more one of those teams winning more than one game.
Yeah. I do think the Capitals will sweep them. Obviously, if you look at their team, even when Ovechkin was hurt for having mind you, broken leg, came back, still finished the season. Insane, by the way. So they still had a very good record, and they still maintained that first slot pretty much the whole year. So I don't see either Columbus or Montreal taking him. But if there is one team in my eyes who I want to see in it, it's Columbus, purely based off of Goodrow.
Fair enough. Okay, and then now we're going to end off this. We're going to talk a lot more hockey next week when the first round officially starts. Derek, give me your final. Give me your winner. If you'd like to go this far, give me the games.
So you want my Stanley Cup prediction, the winner.
Stanley Cup prediction, winner, and how many games?
Okay.
Let's hear it, bitch.
So in the East, I already have my team.
Okay.
With big shit going on for their team, for mainly one player, I have the Washington Capitals.
Okay.
I think they're going to actually railroad the East and have a straight shot to the East, honestly. The West is hard. There's a lot of good teams. Vegas, Winnipeg, Dallas, Colorado. The list goes on. But this is how I see it. Winnipeg, obviously, they've played very well this year. I can't argue against it. But this is my format, and this is how I think they're going to get there. If Colorado wins, if Colorado beats Dallas, who, in my opinion, is the second best team in the West, I think it would be Colorado versus the Capitals, with the Capitals winning the Stanley Cup and Alex Ovechkin hoisting it one more time.
Okay. I like it. I like it even better because me and you aren't even close.
Well, I'm going to say the games real quick.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I'm going to say Capitals take it in a historic Game 7.
Okay, that a boy. That's how you do the Stanley Cup final. Game 7 is a must almost.
Yeah.
I respect it.
Thank you.
I do. I like it. I think it is a fairy tale ending for Ovechkin if he were to retire into the little sunset with hoisting the cup one more time. However, I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm going to go my prediction. I'm going to make it nice and quick. I want to see your reaction. I'm going to go out of the East. I'm going to go the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Oh, brother.
I think the Tampa Bay Lightning, they are the epitome of the perfect soft rebuild. And it has worked to perfection. And in the West, I'm going to go the Los Angeles Kings.
You serious?
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
I am going to go Tampa Bay versus LA. I'm going to go Tampa Bay winning in 7.
I understand hockey is very randomized with Stanley Cup because it's never consistent. But are you smoking crack?
I quote it. Look, this ain't no NCAA tournament bullshit, right? Where I get every single prediction wrong. This is my territory.
I hope LA gets swept in the first round, and I'm gonna be telling our editor to play this clip.
You can play it all you want. I got LA versus Tampa Bay in the Stanley Cup. Tampa Bay taking in 7 games. Quote it, clip it, do whatever you got to do. That's my final picks.
Jesus Christ. Now I have a question for you. This is a little side question. Who do you have them versing in the Western Conference to go to the Stanley Cup?
Yeah, so first round, we already spoke about it with Kings and Oilers. I thought, and I think we both thought that this is going to go to 7.
Yes.
I took the Kings, you took the Oilers, and honestly, it could probably go either way just because they've done this 4 years in a row. So if I'm going to be completely upfront with you, right? If the Kings did lose in the first round in 7, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think that's a surprise in any way, shape, and form. However, I'm very high on the Kings. Secondly, if they do get past Edmonton, how it works, I believe, just looking at the standings here really quickly, I'm pretty sure they would play the second best 1 seed because me and you both have the wild cards losing. I'm pretty sure they would play then Vegas, and I just like the Kings better, right? Vegas is not a good away team. They're only 13-6 this year away. Los Angeles Kings, as I said, they are the best home team in the league. And yes, I get it. The Knights would have home ice advantage here. I'm sorry, I'm still taking the Kings. That's just the way I
respect you for sticking with it.
I appreciate that. And then in the conference finals, they would play either Winnipeg, Dallas, or Colorado, whoever comes out that side of the bracket. And all 3 of those teams are fucking insane. So the path for the Kings is immensely harder than the path for the Tampa Bay Lightning, which is why I think Tampa Bay will be a little bit fresh in my Stanley Cup prediction, which is why I think Tampa Bay wins it in 7.
That's fair. I think, but if it wasn't like Washington to make it to the Stanley Cup, I think it would be Tampa Bay.
I think they're that good. I think they're that good, and I think they're going to take off the Panthers in the first round, and I think that's just going to propel them throughout the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
And you want to know what's so funny? Which it's not shocking because it doesn't happen in NHL often. We both didn't say Florida was going to make it back.
Look, there is such a thing as a Stanley Cup hangover. They really haven't had it. They haven't. They're still a really fucking good team. They've just been bit a little bit by the injury bug. Even Marchand has been injuries here and there, but Tkachuk hurts a lot. And they are just a year older, right? Bobrovsky is a year older. And I think everybody else around them got a little bit better. So that's why it's not that I don't believe in the Panthers because they still do have that championship DNA. They still have some really good players and they still have a great coach. I just think Tampa Bay is going to be a little bit too much for them. That's just my opinion.
That's fair. Wow.
But that being said, editor, you want to clip our shit? So be it, right? We got our first round predictions out. We got our Stanley Cup out. I was very excited to talk about that. Now we're going to get to Derek's side. I say Derek, and feel me if I'm wrong here, because this week is the play-ins. I think we should only predict the matchups that don't involve play-ins. So 3v6s and 4v5s.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
You okay with that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, as I did the last one, I'm going to start it off, give the matchups. Derek, I'm going to allow you to elaborate to begin. By the way, the 3v6s and the 4v5s in almost both conferences have been finalized. Scratch that. They have been finalized. Jesus, mind is racing here. First one, we're going to go to the Eastern Conference. Derek, we're going to get it right off the bat because it is my team. I'm going to allow you to eliminate them, or I'm going to allow you to have them move forward. Whichever you want to do. We're going to go to the New York Knickerbockers against the Detroit Pistons. What are we feeling here, Derek?
I'm saying the New York Knicks. We'll take
Oh, you so wanted to take the Pistons. I can see
I did. I really did. But for some reason, I haven't seen like that spark that I saw earlier in the year with them. So, and obviously, the Knicks do have a great team. Jalen Brunson, Bridges, Owen Ojinobi. I'm not even going to say them.
OG Anunoby.
I combined his whole name. OG, Cat, their team is very good. So I do say the Knicks do win the series, even though Cade Cunningham has had a good year. Jalen Duran, very good year. Even Isaiah Stewart, the man who loves fighting, has had a good year. Their whole team has gelled well, but I don't think they're going to be enough for the Knicks. And I do think the Knicks will take it in a gentleman's sweep.
Gentleman's sweep. Wow, 5 games. Look at you. Oh, you just fucking jinxed us. Fuck. All right, well, obviously I'm going Knicks here.
Yeah.
I think they are the better team. I'm going to go Knicks in 6. The Pistons have actually dominated us this year. They've won all 4. That being said, we've spoke about this in hockey as well. Regular season means crap anymore. It's done. It's old history. Playoff time, baby. I think the Knicks are just better suited for this matchup. I think they have more talent on their team. The Pistons, don't get me wrong, are a very good, young, up-and-coming team, and they're going to be here for years to come. And this is just the start. But I think they're a little bit in over their head against the Knicks, who just have so much talent, as you mentioned, right? Brunson, OG, McHale, Hart. The list goes on. So I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to take Knicks 6 here. We can get on to the second one now. This one is a little bit more intriguing, only because both of these teams are like middle of the road, mediocre good. I don't know how to explain it per se. Indiana Pacers, Milwaukee Bucks. What are you thinking?
If I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think it's going to be even close. I think that the Pacers are going to utterly dominate them. Pascal Siakam is going to have a series. I think he's going to have not a breakout series, because obviously he was very good with Toronto when he was there. And obviously he had a good series last year. They went to the Western Conference Finals. That's huge. But I don't see, because they announced today that Damian Lillard is out for the start of the playoffs, which is huge. It's pretty much Giannis by himself. So, and I don't think Giannis can take down that team by himself. He's not God, even though his nickname is the Greek God. I think that Indiana takes it, not in these 2 games. Honestly, I think Milwaukee's are just going to take 2 games at home. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be 4-6 Indiana.
Okay, cool. I want to confirm something really quick, because is the NBA first round out of 5?
No, NBA first series is out of 7.
It's all out of 7, right?
Yes.
Because I had a cousin tell me it was 5 yesterday, and I called him.
No, I thought that was hockey. That the first round was out of 7.
It's baseball. It's baseball. But yes, I do agree with you here. By the way, Derek, you forgot about the best player in Milwaukee, Kyle Kuzma.
Shut the fuck up.
Joking. Jesus. What did you take Indiana in?
6.
I'm taking him in 5.
Fair.
I for pretty much the same reasons as you did. The team is Giannis, and you stop Giannis, you stop the Bucks, right? If I'm the Pacers, my game plan: make Kyle Kuzma shoot the ball 40 times.
I agree, and just
automatic
put Siakam.
Automatic wins.
Yes, honestly, just have 2 men down low, and you're gonna stop Giannis.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm glad we're on the same page. Realize the first and the second seed, we don't have their matchups yet. The Cleveland Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics. Me and Derek can both confidently, I'm going to even say it for Derek, we can both confidently say they're going to win the first round. So we'll see them back in round 2.
Yes, we'll see them in round 2.
Okay, so going to the Western Conference. These are some intriguing matchups. These are some really fucking fun matchups, Derek. First one, the Los Angeles Lakers, who so many people are high on, against the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are they're a scrappy team led by Anthony Edwards. So I'm curious to see what you say first.
It's going to be tough. Not really. It's not tough at all. Honestly, I think that the Lakers are going to dominate this series. I'm going to go with my guy, Shannon Sharp, saying SGA, PGA, USA, Lakers in 5.
Oh, Christ. Here we go.
Honestly, don't get me wrong, that Minnesota has played, they have Anthony Edwards, DiVincenzo, Julius Randle. Their team is solid. But the way AR, LeBron, Luka, fucking Rui Hachimura, Dalton Knecht coming off the bench, the team has just been playing phenomenal. No one expected them to be the 3rd seed, and obviously this Luka trade is a massive thing. So I say Lakers taking 5.
Okay. I am going to go Lakers as well. I'm going to go in 6.
Okay.
I'm going to give a little bit more credit to the Timberwolves than they're probably due. Also going to downgrade the Lakers a little bit just because they don't have a ton of depth. Their starting lineup is very good, but they don't have a ton of depth. Still, I'm taking Bronny Jr. going for 40 a night. No, I'm taking Lakers in 6 here. I think LeBron and Luka definitely has this experience. LeBron, we know, has this experience. So I don't see an issue for the Lakers here in the first round, and I think we're both pretty much on the same page there.
Yeah.
Getting into the second matchup, which is definitely most 100% by far the more intriguing one here. Probably the most intriguing matchup out of all the 3v6 or 4v5 matchups. The Denver Nuggets against the Clippers, right? So Clippers have won 8 straight. They're 9-1 in their last 10. Really clicking on all cylinders with Kawhi leading them, as we all know. Then you have an opposite end of that in the Denver Nuggets, who fired their by the way, NBA championship coach with 5 games left to go in the season. Props to the Nuggets. They've won 3 out of their last 5, 3 in a row to go into the playoffs. Still a really good team. They still have the arguable best player in the NBA in Jokic. He's probably not going to win MVP this year just because of SGA's there.
Bullshit.
You still have Westbrook, who has had a nice bounce back year, who's playing at a decent level. And then they have some other good pieces like an Aaron Gordon that we've, talked about over the time. So, Derek, where are you thinking on this one?
This series is so tough. Honestly, it is. Because obviously Kawhi, who's finally healthy, he's been playing great. And the team that Zubac playing very well. The team has been playing overall very well. But it's just so hard for me to go against Jokic. It's so hard. I do think Kawhi is going to put up a fight. And I think it's going to be Denver Nuggets in 7 games.
Nice. I agree. It's going 7.
Okay.
I do. I think this is the only first round matchup that goes 7. I'm in the same boat as you. So tough, right? We have two world champions going against each other in Jokic and Kawhi.
Can't forget about Harden.
Fuck Harden. He's never won shit in his life. Oh man. It's so tough because it really is a coin flip for me. I hate it. I am going to go with the Clippers only because Denver fired their coach.
That's fair.
That is the only reason, because it is look, and to be fair, they're not changing their scheme at all in this point in the season. Nothing's changing. Their assistant coach is still going to be basically Malone, right, in coaching. I just think I don't know, man, because it's so hard betting against Jokic. I completely agree with you. I'm not going to second guess it. I'm going to go Clippers. I could see it going the other way. I think it's just going to be an all-time first-round series.
Yeah, this is one of the series that you should tune into because they're two very good teams. Obviously, it's the 4 and 5. They're obviously middle of the pack to the West. This is another reason why also it's going to be huge is Jamal Murray for the Denver Nuggets in the playoffs kind of turns into a god.
Yep.
To where he makes all the clutch shots whenever you need him. And if Jokic is getting double covered, in my opinion, I think a key way to make it to 7 is Kawhi guards Jokic.
Could be.
But great. It's going to be a great series. I can't hate your opinion.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And then same thing with the Eastern Conference, right? The Western Conference, we have the 1 and the 2 seeds, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Houston Rockets. They're still awaiting their matchups here. I think we can both agree Oklahoma City is going to wipe the fucking floor with whoever they play. I'm going to go a bold take here. If Golden State wins tonight, which they do play tonight in the play-in, and they get the 7 seed, I think they beat the Houston Rockets in the first round.
I don't think that's a hot. I agree with you.
Okay. But if Golden State, who by the way is 0-3 in play-ins, if they lose, and let's just say even if they win to make the 8 seed, I think they get fucking mollywopped against OKC.
Any team that's versing OKC is not making it out of there alive. I'm sorry, I don't see it.
It's tough. It's very tough. But I'm glad we're on the same page. We'll talk more about more about Golden State next week. Hopefully, if they win tonight, I do want to see Curry in the playoffs. I think everybody in the world wants to see him in the playoffs, right? But that being said, Derek, we do have to give our finals predictions. We do have to give our winner. We do have to give the amount of games. Do you want to? I know you started off the NHL. Do you want me to start this one, or you want to follow suit?
I want you to start.
Okay. I'm going to go Boston Celtics in the East. I know it's not a sexy pick. I know it's kind of, just a given. I think they destroyed their first round opponent. I think they beat the Knicks in the second round in 5 games. If that, I think they may sweep them. And then I think they handle the Cleveland Cavaliers in either 6, or even 5 or 6, if you want my opinion. I just think they're that good, the Celtics. The West is tougher.
Very tough.
I'm not going to go OKC. I'm not going to go chalk. Nope, not going to do it.
I'm shocked.
I'm not going to do it. So you're going to hate me again. I have 2.
Oh, no. I know one of them. I know one of them.
It's dependent. If Golden State gets to 7, I'm taking Golden State to go to the finals. Yep, you can hate me. I don't care. Whatever. I know. I'm smoking the good stuff. I get it. Right? If they get the 7 seed, I'm taking Golden State to go to the finals. If they don't, shut your dirty whore mouth, Derek. If they don't, I am going to go chalk then. I'm going to go OKC then.
Oh, God.
So, and that's, by the way, that's 2 very big variations. So, suck it, bitch. Okay? I'm going to go the more likely one, Boston OKC. I'm going to take Boston in 7. The less likely one, Boston Golden State.
Don't say Golden State. I'm going
to take Boston in 6.
Oh, I was about to smack you through the screen. Oh, my God.
I think no matter who makes it here, I think the Boston Celtics are going to go back-to-back champions. I think their path in the Eastern Conference is very easy. I don't believe in the Cleveland Cavaliers. You can hate me for it. I know they're the 1 seed. I know they've played well all year. I think Boston is significantly better. And the West, kind of like hockey, is a little bit more of a bloodbath, where OKC is going to have to work for it a little bit more, right? Their first round, who gives a shit? They're going to fucking destroy whoever it is. Their second round is going to be Denver or Clippers. That's not easy. That's really not easy. And then most likely their conference finals is going to be, let's just say, Houston or the Lakers. So they do have a tougher path to it. I think they make it. And I just think Boston's too good, man. I really do. I hate to say it. I genuinely hate it, but I think they're too good.
Okay. I'm going to go with, unfortunately, the same East team. I'm going to go Boston because they are the best team in the East. If they get beaten by one of those teams in the East, I'm shocked. I think you and me are both shocked on this.
I agree.
The West. Heavy, heavy hitters. Honestly, 1 through 7 could make it to this could make it to the championship.
If Golden State is 7.
Yes, if Golden State is 7. But I said this when it happened. I honestly think in my heart of hearts that, and I hate to say this because I'm starting to slowly but surely, even though I grew up watching him, starting to hate him. I think the Los Angeles Lakers are going to make it to the championship. The reason why I'm saying this is obviously regular season doesn't mean anything, but it does play a little bit of a factor to when you see the starters go against the starters. You see how they play against each other. Obviously, playoffs are going to be a different scheme. What I saw the Lakers do to the Oklahoma City Thunder on national television was utter destruction. They put Shai in a nice little Lunchables box, and they sent them away. They sent them back to Canada. I don't see... Well, I do see it being 7 games, the Western Conference Finals. I see it between the Lakers and OKC, but I see LeBron seeking the finals again against a very heavy matchup that everyone wants to see, Lakers versus Celtics. And I want to go out of spite and say the craziest thing. And I am. I'm going to say LeBron is going to win.
You're disgusting.
His 5th championship.
You're disgusting. You're a disgusting creature. I have no other words for you.
I'm sorry. I don't know what it is. Well, I know what it is. It's Luka fucking Doncic. It's magic. Luka magic. He is a huge, huge, huge factor. And also, it puts it to effect when AR-15 is turning out to be fucking God over here, being clutch when they need him. It's huge.
You're repulsive.
I'm not repulsive. Your fucking Warriors one was repulsive.
No, it's whatever. We're not going to argue. All right. You have it there, folks. LA Lakers, Derek's champion. Boston Celtics, back-to-back, my champion.
Wow.
That concludes our playoff segments.
Yeah. Woo!
Now, we're going to go through these quick. Derek, we have 2 mailbags.
We just got a letter. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. Wonder who it's from.
I'm excited for this shit.
I'm going to leave it up to you first and foremost. We have an NHL one. We have an MLB one.
We got to go MLB.
You want to do MLB first?
Of course you do.
Okay, let me pull it up here really quickly while I... It's cute. Okay. My bad. That was a little extreme, right? Maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe? Yeah. Whatever. As I mentioned, we have 2. We're going to go the first one as first and foremost, which Derek chose himself, which is the MLB one. This one is from Yakov. Welcome, Yakov. Yakov from Crested Butte, Colorado. I hope you're doing okay out there, Yakov. It must be fucking cold. That sucks ass. Crested Butte.
Oh my
Jesus.
God.
Yeah, some really weird towns over these stupid things.
Yeah.
Anyway, appreciate you reaching out to us, Yakov. I believe this one was from TikTok, if I'm not mistaken, Derek. So keep them coming, everybody. Like I mentioned, an MLB question. Here it goes. We are about 15 games through the MLB season to start. Which team's pitching staff or which pitcher in the MLB has surprised you the most, good or bad? Derek, I'm going to go with you.
Okay. Shit. This is tough. What? You okay?
Oh, that was a perfect reaction. Oh my God.
Fuck.
Would you like me to start, Dick?
No, I Because I don't know if it's a surprise.
Okay.
But I'm still going to go with it because when you said I just didn't agree with you. His name is Jack Leiter.
Okay.
The reason why I'm saying is obviously he started off very strong. His first 2 games he pitched, coming off of not so well last season, he started off 2-0. And in the 2 games he's pitched, they were commanding wins. For a young pitcher like him, coming in these games, starting off the season 2-0, was very, very well good. And I do think I'm me personally, I'm very surprised. I thought that obviously Eovaldi and DeGrom would have stood out for Texas massively. But I think Jack Leiter is probably the standout right now in Texas.
Okay. I mean, look, I like it. I like that answer. You don't have to tell me twice. I was a big Jack Leiter fan coming into this year. So I like it a lot. I think he has surprised through 2 starts. You know, hopefully he gets his 3rd soon. I believe.
I believe it's this week.
Actually, don't quote me on it. It may be tonight. So I'm not too sure. I know he got injured a little bit with his finger. I believe they're going to maybe try to get him into a AAA start before coming back. He went on till I think it was the 10-day IL. So yes, it was a very good start to the year. Hopefully he comes back from that finger injury just as good as new. I know it wasn't serious, so that I'm hoping for that. That being said, I'm gonna go a team that has surprised me. And I think it surprised a lot of people, to be honest with you. I'd be shocked if it doesn't. I'm going to go for good. The New York Mets. They had some injuries coming into the year. Frankie Montas, who was one of their free agent signings, really not sure when he's going to come back. One of their other free agent signings who they love extremely much, who had a very good year last year, Sean Manaea, still, determining when he's coming back as well. But they've really pieced it together. Right? Kodai Senga in 3 starts, a 1.06 ERA. Insane. David Peterson in 3 starts, a 2.7 ERA. Even Clay Holmes has under a 4 ERA, and I think a lot of us Yankee fans were really mocking that move to begin with. And then probably the biggest surprise, Tyler McGill, 3 starts, under a 1 ERA, a 0.63 ERA. Right? We always thought coming into this year, especially with the bats that they were able to sign, most notably Juan Soto, that was going to carry them early. It's been the complete opposite. Their pitching in this early 15, 20 games, however many games these teams have been going through, right? Their pitching has been the ones who have propelled them through these first 15 games. The Mets specifically 16 games. The Mets pitching staff, the Mets as a team, Derek, have the lowest runs against in the league right now. That is tremendous. From a pitching staff that we really thought they were going to have to piece it together and maybe trades for some more depth at the deadline, which they still may do, by the way. I think it's just a testament to them because they also don't have a lot of runs scored. So their pitching staff has really carried them throughout these first 16 games. I think it's extremely impressive. It's the reason they're 11-5 to begin with. I want to give them a round of applause and props because personally, I didn't think it was going to happen, right? David Peterson actually looks like a legit pitcher. Tyler McGill does usually start off good, but he looks legit. Kodai Senga, I love me some Japanese pitchers. One of my favorite all-time, Masahiro Tanaka. He's looking really good as long as he stays healthy. The New York Mets starting rotation is my surprise so far in 2025.
If we were going to do starting rotations, there's one team that cannot go unnoticed. It's the San Diego Padres.
It's the truth.
They've played very offensively. They've played very well, putting up a lot of runs. And pitching wise, for example, Michael King 3-0, Bavita 2-1, Hart 2-0. The list goes on. They've pitched very, very well from their starting pitching to their relief pitching. It's been very well. And Dylan Cease with 24 strikeouts.
But most notably with Cease, he's not even off to a good start.
No.
And the rest of the rotation looks phenomenal. So yes, I agree. Their starting rotation has definitely been a surprise. Michael King looks absolutely outstanding.
I haven't seen him like this before.
Complete game shutout last game for anybody who didn't watch as well. So he's looking really great. I agree, Derek. San Diego is definitely one of those teams that's been surprising.
Respect to San Diego for being number one.
Yeah, no, I agree, but
you shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up.
Jesus Christ.
Holy shit, that hurt, man.
That looked like it fucking hurt.
Oh, my cock is tingling. All right. Yakov, thank you for the question, buddy. Hope you're staying warm out there in Colorado. Keep them coming, everybody. But, Derek, we do have to get into the second question.
Yes.
You push this one off.
Yes.
It's NHL.
Yes.
It is from, let me pull up this one because I had up the first one. This one's actually from YouTube, so shout out to this person who is...
Nikki from the Bronx?
No, it's not. Nikki hasn't actually messaged us since the beginning of the MLB season, so I'm a little skeptical.
He's in hibernation. I like this.
Which is weird. His Mets are doing good, so we're hoping to hear from you soon, Nikki. However, beyond that, this one is Gustavo. Derek. Gustavo from Kirkwood, Missouri. Gustavo from Kirkwood, Missouri. How's it going down under? Oh, whatever. It is one of the southern states if you don't know geography, but sorry, that was a little cringy. Gustavo, thanks for sending a question into the show, buddy. We really do appreciate it. With news of Gabriel Landeskog officially coming back to the Colorado Avalanche after his major injury, should Colorado allow him to play in the playoffs, or should they have him wait till next season?
Okay. Pause this for 1 second.
Oh, Derek, come on! Gustavo, thank you for the question, buddy. I think this is extremely prevalent now that we are entering the playoffs and now that the Colorado Avalanche terminated Landeskog's contract with their AHL affiliated team, so he has joined the team officially. Derek, I'm going to let you start off with this one. Do you think the Colorado Avalanche should allow Landeskog to play in the playoffs at all? Or maybe game 1, maybe game 3? What are you thinking here?
See, it's tough because his injury that he's coming back from is a hard injury. He's been out for 2 years. The injury, I'm not like, this is not like me throwing a shot at anyone, but I call this the Lonzo Ball injury because this is the closest thing I could get to it. It's pretty much the same exact injury to where he pretty much had to get his whole knee replaced. It's very, very tough for hockey players because you're skating. You're constantly bending your knees. You're constantly skating. You obviously need conditioning from all that. It's huge. The NBA is completely different because you're NBA, you could be out for like 20 minutes and then come back in for 10 minutes. NHL, it's constant on the ice, on the ice, on the ice, off the ice, on the ice, off the ice. But he is Colorado's captain. At the end of the day, how I see it is this. If I'm the captain, if I think I'm suitable enough to play, I'm going to play. I do think he's going to play the first series. Even though, do I think he should? I think depending on how the series is going, honestly. If it's close, fuck it. Throw him in. He's the captain. He only can help your team. He's not going to make him worse. If it's not, if say you're potentially up 3-1, fuck it. Don't play him. Send him out and start him next series when you need him in the second round.
I get that point of view. I'm going to go the complete opposite route. I think it is moronic, idiotic, stupid, downright just hurtful if the Colorado Avalanche play him. And I'm going to give you some reasons why.
Let me hear this.
One, first and foremost, man, God, for the love of God, this guy has not played in an NHL game since 2022.
2 years.
2 years, Derek. 2 full years of not skating in NHL action. That is a long fucking time. That is a long time, Derek, especially for an injury of this caliber, for everything you just described, right? He basically had an entire knee replacement. They had to replace cartilage in his knee. That is not a light surgery. That's not something you take lightly. 2 full years of missing NHL action. Number 2, why in God's name would you put him into the playoffs as his first NHL action? The playoffs are faster. The playoffs are tougher. The playoffs are more physical. This guy, God forbid, he's one hit, one wrong turn away from his career ending. That's just the truth. I don't care if he's been out 2 full years and you say he got all the rest he needed. He's been practicing, he played in the NHL. That has nothing, zero, nada, to do with the NHL playoffs, especially against the Dallas Stars team who you know is going to be hitting every chance they get, and you know they're going to go after him whether they say it or not. That's just the fact. I get he's the captain. I do. I completely understand it, right? But you got to this point without your captain. You did. Just him being in the locker room, just him being fully, maybe even fully dressed, right, is going to give your team a boost. You don't need him out there to play. There is no reason in this type of caliber playoffs where if your role, your path to the Stanley Cup is going to be through the Dallas Stars, the Winnipeg Jets, the Vegas Knights, the fucking Edmonton Oilers, the Los Angeles Kings, the playoffs are hell. This guy quite literally is one hit in the playoffs away from his entire career over, and then Colorado fans are going to want to kill themselves, win or lose. There is no reason whatsoever from his point of view or from an organization's point of view to put him in game. I'm sorry, there's just not. Colorado fans can feel differently because they're only thinking with emotion right now. That's all. You have to, when a guy's career is on the line, with an injury of this caliber is on the line, you have to think smart. If everything goes well, if everything moves well throughout the offseason, yes, you can start him then to begin the next year. I just don't think it's a good idea to push him right back into the playoffs. It's just not intelligent.
I understand completely what you're saying. Because you are 100% right that the pace and all this comes into play. Regular season is different than postseason. It's just like, obviously, like this is, I don't know. It's just how I see it is this. 2 years have gone by. You're 100% right. 2 years is a long fucking time to not play in an NHL game. And him just playing his first 2 AHL game, and he says, I'm good. Pretty much. He's like, I'm good. I'm ready to play with the big dogs. Because I have a side question for you. Do you think that if he does play, it hurts Colorado more than it helps them?
I do. I genuinely do. I think just based on performance, from all the reasons we just said, right? The playoffs is a whole different animal. Everybody's faster. Everybody's more physical in the playoffs. This is a guy who has not had NHL game time action in 2 years. There is no way you're going to put him right back in the lineup and he's going to play 15 minutes a night and he's just going to, be like he left, like nothing happened. He's going to be slower. He's going to be a little bit more cautious when taking turns around the bend. He's going to maybe be a little bit slower going back on defense on 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s. This is not a time to do experiments. He would actually hurt them at this point in the year. Now, if you tell me if he was ready 15 games ago and he played 15 regular season games, we're having a whole different conversation right now. Whole different conversation. But I just can't justify you putting this guy, no matter how good he is, no matter how much heart he has, no matter how well Colorado fans love him, you can't justify to me putting him into the playoffs in this situation. You can't.
That's fair. I think like at this one, good question, Gustavo. It's very opinion based. It's just honestly like based off of like if you think, hey, should you risk it and start him? Who he is your captain, he is one of the best players on your team when he's healthy. Or do you save the guy's career and have him wait out until next year and start in the regular season?
Yeah.
I think that's it's tough.
Give him a whole nother offseason to recoup to be 100%.
But hey, for all you know, he could come into this game, score 2 goals and an assist.
There's no way. I'm sorry. I just don't see it. Unless he's quite literally been fine for the last 2 months, and they've really just taken it slow for the playoffs,
which is very possible.
But I haven't seen any indication of that. This guy has played 2 HL games, Derek.
Yeah,
and he says he's good to go. But
I wonder if he scored in these AHL games.
I'm sorry, I just don't see it. That's just me. I could be horribly wrong. I hope the best for him. I hope if he does play, he fucking kills it. I just can't see it happening.
That's fair. I can't side you for that.
However, Gustavo, phenomenal question. Love to hear it. I love the hockey questions, everybody. Love them.
Keep them up.
Love them so much. Love them. Yes.
Until I speak about the redacted team. But hey.
We don't talk about the redacted team. No, that's not till October. That being said, Derek, any final thoughts, or we would like to go into our lovely end segment?
Then we're going to go into our lovely end segment.
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm 100% ready. Are you ready?
Maybe. Baller of the week!
A little bit, Satan. It looked like it hurt you.
It hurt at the end. Not going to lie. It hurt at the end. But yes, ball of the week time. Derek, if you don't mind, I would like to start.
Sure. I'll let you. Yeah. I don't think you're going to take mine. If you do, I'm just going to kick you in the teeth.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to stay in the sports world. I'm going to go to a sport that we almost never talk about. I think this is maybe one of the easier ball of the weeks just because of what he did this past weekend. Just because of the way he did it. My ball of the week is going to be Rory McIlroy. Well, while Derek is over there sulking and crying, I am going to explain why he is baller of the week, right? Baller of the week, Rory McIlroy. You could call it a joint ball of the week for all you want, Derek. This guy just won the Masters. He becomes the 6th golfer of all time to win the Grand Slam, to have a Grand Slam of titles, which for anybody who doesn't know, it's very similar to tennis, winning all 4 majors, right? U.S. Open, British Open, Masters, and then, Derek, what's the 4th one?
It's the U.S. Open. It's the PGA.
Thank you. The PGA Championship.
The Masters.
Yes. And then the Open Championship, which is known as the British Open. Earlier in Rory's career, he really came onto the scene. He won the British Open, the PGA Championship, and the U.S. Open, all within a span of 2 years. So he was right up there with some of the best golfers of all time already. And now it has taken him almost 10 years to finally gain and win that elusive 4th championship of the Masters. He did it this past weekend. It was an unbelievable sight to see on Masters Sunday. He won it in a playoff, which is the first playoff since 2017, which basically means 2 golfers are tied in their score at the end of the final round. They go to a playoff, they shoot on 18. They continue to shoot until one of them is a winner. Rory now completes his Grand Slam of titles, like I mentioned, only becoming the 6th golfer of all time to do so. First one since Tiger Woods. That's pretty fucking good company to be in, Derek. It's pretty fucking good. Want to give my flowers to Rory. He's been waiting a long time. He's been battling a long time. He looks great over the last 8 months. He looks vintage, Rory. Hope he continues to win. But this is a big feat for any sport, let alone for golf. So Rory McIlroy. I'm not clapping because for the first time ever, we're doing a joint one because I knew for some reason in my mind I'm like, this motherfucker's gonna take it. I have a bad feeling about this, but I'm going to do it. I'm gonna go a little bit more because you obviously don't watch golf. I know you don't. I did watch the Masters. I will say.
Okay, I was heavily tuned into the Masters. I watched day 1 on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm gonna start off with on Thursday. Rory had a very, very tough. I believe he had a double bogey and a bogey, which is
Started -4 on the first 9, 2 double bogeys on the back 9 to go even on the day.
yes, he did not do the best on Thursday, but on Friday, motherfucker played out of his mind.
Yep.
He shot 6 under par, which if no one knows where they played at Augusta, which is in Georgia, and that course is the par for the 18 holes is 72. So to be under par, he was 6 under par. He shot 66 on the day, which is fucking amazing, might I add. Having a very big bounce back day with obviously a bunch of players like Rose, Scheffler, Bryson DeChambeau all climbing, getting close to him. Then on round 3, he does the same exact thing and shoots another 66, which is fucking insane. And mind you, going into Sunday, he's up by 4.
Yep.
Is it?
He was up by 2. He was -12. Bryson was -10.
Oh yes, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. Because on the first hole of day 4 or the championship Sunday, he double bogeyed, and everyone was worried about that he was going to have a Masters collapse like he did in 2011. Because he was there in 2011. He was in the lead by 4 strokes, I believe. I think that's where I got it mixed up. He was in the lead by 4 strokes. And then Bubba Watson stole that trophy from him.
Yep.
So this is a huge trophy for him. He valued this massively. He said this is the one thing he wants to do before he retires. Which I don't see him retiring anytime soon. He's not that old to retire from golf. Obviously, Tiger Woods is still kicking it. And even back in the day, John Daly, he was playing golf for a long time.
Yeah.
But for seeing the emotions on his face when he sunk the putt and when he won, it's just great to see. And he can't go unrecognized. I know we both said it, but overall, I think the baller of the week is Mr. McIlroy.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, props to him on Championship Sunday, final hole, to send it, to win it. He misses the putt, sends it into a playoff. The poise that you have to not think in the back of your mind, Jesus, I'm choking again. And then to go out there and birdie on the 18th again against Rose to win it.
Which I believe is a par 4 or is a par 5.
It was a par, the 18th?
Was it a par 5 or par 4?
I'm pretty sure it was a par 4.
Yeah, it's a par 4. It's a par 4. Because it was a par 5 for hole 17.
100%. It was a par 4. He birdied on it. The balls of steel that he had. The shots were phenomenal, by the way. Would recommend everybody go watch them. Yes, Derek, 100%. And I do think he's young enough that he's got a lot more in him. He really doesn't have many injuries. He's playing out of his mind the last 6 to 8 months where he can win another couple of majors this year alone. So I think he's going to continue to build off of it. Love to see it, but yes, he and Derek's joint baller of the week.
Yeah. And one last thing I want to mention about golf. It's the last thing I want to mention about golf is what I like to see is, for example, like to go into Championship Sunday, it was DeChambeau versus McIlroy. And they don't have beef in a way, but they're trash talking each other the whole weekend because DeChambeau took away his U.S. Open last year from him.
Yeah.
He would have captured that, but DeChambeau had a hell of a last hole and won. So what I hope to see down the line in golf is a lot more like these competitions. Like obviously DeChambeau does his stuff with Liv and he does his YouTube stuff, and then Rory's the traditional golfer.
Yeah.
So very excited to see. Can't wait for the next tournament. And I'm just looking forward to it.
Yeah, agreed.
And that concludes this podcast. Dean, you have anything special you'd like to say? No?
Nada. Let's go Golden State.
Fair. I'll agree with this one. Let's go and say go Curry. Everyone, like, subscribe, follow on TikTok, follow on Instagram. I'm still thinking about making an X or a Twitter, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Haven't decided yet. Obviously, more videos are going to be posted on this channel. Mainly focusing on these playoff games these next couple weeks. Because it's huge. It's getting to playoff time. And we're obviously going to sneak in baseball when we can. And tennis, golf.
And the NFL draft.
And the NFL draft. Which is what I was going to say. Next week is me and Dean are going to give our predictions on how some of the order is going to go. We're going to say who our team should pick, what some teams should pick, and etc. It's going to be fun. But overall, like, subscribe, and see you guys later. Peace.